I'm here today with Matthew Slade Buckalew, who recently completed a week-long Premier Leadership Training Program at FSU in Tallahassee with Florida American Legion Boys State as the state's representative of American Legion Post 302. Slade, can you tell us a little bit about Boys State? What is it all about?
So, I like to think that American Legion is a lot about, and more particularly, of course, Boys State, is a lot about three major things. So, first off, you have the politics of it, which is kind of like the main thing it's about. That's what they sell us on. It's a lot about trying to improve your chances of getting into a political career and improve your chances of getting into college if you're going for, say, poli-sci, law, or whatever it is you're running for, and really trying to get into those positions of state, local, federal government that you want to easier. The second thing I'd say it's about is a lot about like people skills. So talking with people, and kind of getting to know them. Even if you don't spend much time with them, you talk with them long enough that you kind of can get an understanding for them, what they want, how they think, and understanding that not everyone you run with or everyone you are alongside in a political job or even just a normal job is going to agree with you on every single matter. The final major thing, of course, is just friendship. I made a lot of friends while I was there, I feel. And it's a lot about just the guys that you'll meet there, that you'll get their phone number, and after you get their phone number, you'll just talk with them for as long as you live. And you'll see them come up in different positions, whether it be mayor of a city, county commissioner, or something down the road. There's like 429 of us. It's bound to happen that one of us is going to get some major position in politics somewhere. So I would say that's what it's all about.
Okay, great. Can you tell us what a day was like there? From your average day when you woke up. Could you give us like a little synopsis of what you actually went through?
Yeah. So the main thing for me was that I was a bugler while I was there, so I did the reveille every morning and the taps every evening. But on most mornings we woke up around 5 or 6. There was one exception, the day we woke up around 7, which was just an exception. That was like we got extra sleep that night basically. But we woke up. You woke up about 30 minutes earlier than the call time if you wanted to do the morning run so you could get some exercise in, and you woke up 30 minutes earlier if you were a bugler because you had to do the morning call. After that, we would line up in our respective cities and make our way to the Tucker Center. We would have a general assembly and a breakfast, and after that we would get into either our cities or counties or our just our large bodies with everyone in them to talk over things. There was a lot of times where we would even just have free time to do political campaigning or just talk with people about things casually. Whenever we would get home, I guess I should talk real quick. Towards the end, in the final 2 days, Thursday and Friday, we actually had a lot of time relegated to just the political assemblies, so both legislative bodies, whether you were in the House of Representatives or the Senate or the Forum and the Assembly, the Supreme Courts and the county courts and the executive cabinet would all basically meet for most of the day. But after that, we would all go to the Tucker Center, have dinner, then go home back to our apartments. We would have taps at the end of the night, so the two buglers, me and Peyton, would go up into the different floors, play taps, and then we'd all turn in for the night.
Oh, that sounds like you guys packed a lot into a day.
We did.
Let me ask you this. What was your favorite part about Boys State?
So my favorite part about Boys State was, I would say, the moment that we heard, like, from the stage, who had won the governorship. So I was a part of the rally committee. So that means that I worked with the posters, the videos, the presentation, and all the stuff that went into our actual election campaign for our governor and our other politicians. And so I had put a lot into actually trying to get a successful campaign done for our governor and our politicians. So whenever it was announced that our governor, for our Nationals candidate governor, Martin Seals, whenever it was announced that he had won the governorship, that was amazing. And it was really a landslide. It was like 260 to, it was like a 60 vote difference. Like, it was a huge election for us, and it just felt amazing. Like, I went up to all the guys that were like a part of the rally committee near me, and we just like had a moment of just like, we did it, we'd won. Even though we weren't up on stage winning elections, we were down here making sure that our guy got the position that he needed to get. And I would say that was the biggest like moment for me in the entirety of Boise State.
Awesome. Earlier, when I asked you what Boise State's all about, the third thing you had mentioned was like the friendships. So I'm guessing you were able to make friends while you were there. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is. I made a few friends, especially within my city, and in all my committees and cabinets and all that. I mean, just to name like my two, of course, roommates, Derek and Roman, very good guys, and I came to appreciate the time that I got to spend with them, just talking with them about really just a lot of things. They were definitely my closest friends during all of this. Maybe because we spent the most time with one another, because we were kind of stuck with one another, but it was still nice to have them. But I made a lot of friends. I got a lot of phone numbers. I still am in group chats with everyone in the rally committee and everyone in the cabinet, and so like I definitely made a lot of friends, and I feel like friends were very important during this event.
Awesome. Something about you mentioned just a question or two prior was some of your responsibilities. Can you explain any titles or positions you held while you were there, like a little more in depth?
Yeah, I can. First thing I'm gonna say before I go into the titles I won is that I lost every single election. I did not win a single election while I was there. Which is fine. It's whenever you go for something, whenever you run for something, you expect that there's a chance of failure. So, of course, I lost a lot, but I also won a lot of things that mattered. So, of course, I was the bugler. That was a volunteer position. I volunteered personally to be the bugler in the mornings and evenings. So that was just a huge thing. We got to play in the House of Representatives. We got to play taps in the House of Representatives as a bugler. That was huge for me. It was very nerve-wracking. We may or may not have made a mistake, both me and Peyton, but we got through it. And it was amazing. And the second major position I had after that would be, of course, being a part of the rally committee. And like I already talked about that just previous, we did a lot of stuff in order to make sure that our guys in the Nationalist Party won the election. Don't get me wrong, the guys who did the speeches, the actual people who won the election, they were vital to their own campaigns. They did the speeches, they answered the questions, but without us, there would be less drive, less impact behind what happened. So I'm very proud of what I did within the rally committee in order to ensure that our guys won the election. The next major position I had was in the assembly. Though I was not in the assembly for very long before my next position after that, I was still proud of it. In order to get into the assembly, basically you lose the election again in the House of Representatives, but I still got nominated to be in the House of Representatives, and I was very proud of that. I was very proud to be in the assembly for what time that I was, and for the entire time that I was in Boy State after that point, I always made sure that I kept in mind the guys that were in the assembly whenever it came down to trying to get bills pushed through into law. And finally, I was a member of the cabinet. In fact, I was the Secretary of State in the cabinet for our governor, Martin Seals. In order to get put into the position of Secretary of State, you have to first, of course, want to be the Secretary of State, but then you have to approach the governor and you have to give a speech on why you are the most qualified candidate, and the other guy who won for Secretary of State was our party chairman, James Mayer. So it was me and James Mayer who went up there and gave speeches on why we thought we were the most qualified candidate for Secretary of State. And I was very passionate about what I said. I was very, I made sure to, like, instill the fact that I had a lot of friends. Like, I talked with a lot of people on both sides of the aisle about legislation and how it would impact us economically and how it would impact really just the state as a whole, like what it would mean. And it was because of what I said that I won the governor's selection for Secretary of State. And so I was Secretary of State, one of the closer advisory positions to the governor in the little cabinet for the duration of the time in Boy State.
Awesome. Based on your experiences there, do you think you will continue down this path?
Yeah. I plan to be a politician in my future. I kind of want to run for, I don't know where I'm going to go next necessarily. I don't know if I want to start local, work my way up to state, or just try to go to state and then work my way up to federal. Probably start local and then work my way up the chain is what I'm thinking. But I do definitely intend on staying on that path. I am going to try to work with some political candidates. I mean, there's a political candidate here in Jackson County who was actually a counselor for for my city even. He is here in Jackson County. He's running for sheriff, and he offered me an opportunity to work with him on his election campaign, and I intend on working with most likely him and any other officials that I can manage to work with on their campaigns in order to, improve my skills as a political candidate and my chances of getting into that career.
How does being a part of something with such a rich and lasting history make you feel, knowing you have become a part of that history forever?
It feels good, just to put it simply. I mean, I kind of want to talk about something more specific here, because it should be noted, for 11 years, the Nationalists won the governor spot every single year. It was last year the governor spot was won by a Federalist. The Federalists changed everything by winning that election. They broke an 11-year streak of just straight nationalist governors with one Federalist governor. And my place in this history, though my name might not be ever spoken of within Boy State ever, was making sure that a nationalist governor was put in power for this year's race. We, as the rally committee, had a huge in making sure that Governor Seals got elected. And it's huge that this was like really just a comeback. And it's not the first time it's ever happened, but it definitely is a huge time that it has happened. The Nationalists lost every single position before that. We lost city, county, we lost both the House and Senate to majority Federalist representation. And then we won the governorship. We won the lieutenant governorship. We won the central financial officer position. And so it was really big for us that we did all of that. And it feels really good to have a special place in the history of Boy State as one of the greatest, participants, citizenry of Boy State, and also one of the most impactful in the history of Boy State.
Awesome. Is there anything you would like to add now that the initial experience is over?
Well, I would just like to say I really did enjoy my time there. I'm glad that I got to participate in it, and I feel like I improved a lot as a person. I gained a lot of skills when it just came down to talking to people, making sure that I actually, got out there instead of just being secluded to myself. I learned a lot about getting out there, talking to people, and understanding who they are, what they thought, and I guess if you want to think of it this way, how I could appeal to them if I ran for something. And another thing I guess I want to say is just to any future Boy Staters, it's really an important thing. Run for it if it is provided by your local representatives. Like, do it. It is a huge thing. It'll change your life. It really will. They tell you that it will, and you might think, oh, they're just saying that to get more participation. But no, it really will change your life. Because I went in there and I, like I said, lost every single election that I went into. And yet still, I went from being a bugler as the only noticeable thing that I did to being one of the closest advisors to the governor. That is a huge jump for, just to go from some guy who plays trumpet to being alongside the governor in his cabinet. And, it's all because I didn't give up. I kept pushing. I drove forward with everything I did, and it was through the help and advisory of the counselors who were there that I was able to do it. So it's a great event. Participate in it if you can, and if you don't participate in it, then just keep in mind that a lot of guys who do it are going to be trying for things in the future. So keep some names of guys that you do know who run for it in mind, because they're going to do great things.
Thank you, Slade, for your time today. If anyone would like more information about Boy State, please feel free to visit their website at falbs.org or reach out to your local American Legion post.